Hey, hey guys, this is Uncle Dallas. How you feeling? Feeling fine. It's Monday, first day of the week. The world is a better place to live. Welcome to the Higher Standards Organization. Today we're going to do a Let's Talk kind of segment. I'm going to stay on the subject of the abandoned promise. I'm going to stay on that subject. Let me see, we got time. How do you feel? Yep. I'm going to stay on the subject of the abandoned promise. I need us to stay there for a minute because I want us to kind of keep in rhythm with what's going on. The key to that is I want to talk today. I don't want to really kind of go into too much of a deep teaching. I want to just kind of talk today. And so, welcome to the talk part of us. Yeah. I look like I should have cigarettes in my Hey, what's up, Fonzie? What's up, dude? What's up? I want to just kind of talk with us today. I appreciate you guys for following. How was your weekend? My weekend was long. It was long. It was an interesting weekend, but it was a long weekend, nevertheless. How was your weekend? I keep thinking that something amazing is going to happen when I'm watching God do stuff consistently. And for those of you that are listening to me, there is amazing and then there is consistent. I'm watching God do consistent things when there are amazing things happening, available. So it's amazing to me what God is doing. There are radio shows being started. There are all kinds of things being started, and I want to be in my place. I want to be where God wants me to be. I want to be what God wants me to be. And for those of you that are here, your confession should be, I want to be where He is. I want to be where He is. I want to be where God is. Wherever God is, that's where I want to be. And that should be your confession. That should be your movement should be based on that. What did you do today? And I want to be wherever He is, that's where I want to be. And one of the passages that I want to kind of, when you see abandoned promise, those of you that didn't see it from yesterday, go get the video, go look at the video. It's from yesterday. I want to talk about abandoned promise, and I'm going to talk about this on a personal level as well as talk about this on a spiritual level, on a corporate level. As a general rule, and not saying this to anybody specific, as a general rule, TikTok garners a level of people that are probably what you would call your medium financial people. They're right in there in the middle. They're not rich, they're not poor, they're just right there in the middle. And so within that, you're going to see that God is doing something in your life, and the structure of where God is doing it is determined by the fact that God is in your life. Now, what do I mean by that? So, I need to change your mindset here. Follow me here. So, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were asking me about racism. And for those of you that don't know my mindset when it comes to racism, I'm going to share with it. I believe racism is a construct that is used to keep separation and division when it comes to this world. Are there people that are being treated racistly or treated bad because of race? Yes, there are. There are people. Are there basic people that have a foundation of racism? Yes, they are. But the key to what I want you to understand when it comes to me, I don't believe in systemic racism. I don't believe in the racism Well, I believe in systemic racism, but I believe that the system or systemic racism is based on the system of monetary system. I do not believe that it is based on color. I believe that when you get right down to the root of it, it's a financial systemic system. It's a financial systemic system that is designed to keep the structure of the country. There are the creators, there are the managers, and then there are the servants. If everybody writes that down, there's the creators, the person that creates it, they're the people that manage them, and then there are the servants. Now, if any way, we would say those were the minions. So I believe the system of racism is one that is financial. Now, the reason I say that is because within that systemic system of racism, you find people that will follow, hold on for a second. We find people that will follow the racism, not understanding that, there we go. You have people that will follow racism, not understanding the system that they're part of. So for example, what most people, I saw an article that most people at a certain level. Now remember, I told you TikTok has the medium financial. They're kind of the mid people. They said if you want to stop killing of the African American or lower class, put insurance on everybody, because basically the world is run by insurance. And I just gave somebody a key they probably never know. The world is run by insurance. The world is run, everything you do is run on insurance. So if you put insurance, if there was insurance placed on every child when they were born, and that insurance process was set at a certain level, that every child that dies would then in turn take care or put a strain on the insurance company, they would do one of two things. Either they would take away the insurance, or they would stop. The whole movement would be lobbied to stop happening because it's systemic financial. So now, this is all of what I'm talking about this. So if you want to go to 29 and 11, Jeremiah 29 and 11, I'll talk about that. So if that is the case, that means that everything is based on that system. So that means your relationships have to go from a love relationship to a financial relationship. So now I've got to condition women to look for men with money. How do I do that? I start with diamonds, our girl's best friend, when diamonds are probably one of the most abundant stones that we know of. And you can probably realize that a diamond is worth more like $2 or even 35 cents. That's how much a diamond is worth. But if you pay for that diamond, you pay almost 2,000 to 3,000% of what a diamond is. So if a person sells a diamond, they've basically taken care of everything pertaining to them, the higher the diamond. So after I did that, now I've got to make women require diamonds in order for you to marry somebody. Then I got to require him to feel like he's more of a good man if he buys a diamond. So now we've conditioned you to this point that every woman that is getting married wants a diamond. It is a part of her mindset. It is a part of who she is, how she thinks is about a diamond. Then I've got to get her to spend money on a wedding. So now I've gotten you to spend money on a wedding and spend money on a diamond. We did both of them. My wife and I got married, and we had a marriage, we had a wedding, we did the diamond, the whole thing. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying to you is you are conditioned at such a level that is not logical and not constructive, but it is all a part of the segregation that has been designed for your life. So you come into church, and what church has to do is begin to condition you that this is the only place that God is going to reach you. This is the only building. So now you need denominations. It has always blown my mind to go, okay, we have one God, but we have 100 denominations. And people say, well, it's because we all interpret the Bible in different ways. I have that, but here is the key. Everybody we know went to math. Everybody that went to school learned math. I don't even like this, but it's okay. Everybody we know went to school and learned math. Just recently we found that there are 5 or 6 different ways to do math, but we all know one. Doing multiplication tables, we know 1 plus 1 equals 2. We know 2 times 2 equals 4. So if there is a consistency when it comes to the literary challenge of a book, then that situation applies here. So if we could take a math book and teach everybody the same math book, why couldn't we take the Bible and teach everybody about the same God? It's not financially prudent. It doesn't make us money. But if I separate you and say the Kojic people are more important than the Baptist people, and the Catholic people are more important than the Protestant people or the Jewish people, then all of a sudden create financial structure. So now racism no longer becomes a process. Racism simply becomes a construct that allows money to move up the system to the highest point. Do you follow me? So that means that I now have to plan at a level what I'm doing so that it then produces. So let's go to where I am now. So all of a sudden you come to God. And what I do is I do the same thing to you when you come to religion. I begin to segregate you by telling you the deacons are different than the ushers and the prophets are different than the apostles. And then I begin to tell you these things because I need to segregate you. So now you are now striving to be a minister, a preacher, a person that wears a collar and a cross. You begin to strive to do those things to make you feel better, because while you were in the world, you did not get the kind of attention you're getting while you're in the church. So religion became something, every segment of that religion became something that would make you feel special. I'm trying to get ordained so that I can in turn have my white gloves and I can do the sacraments. I'm trying to get ordained so that I can stand in the pulpit and begin to preach. I'm trying to do all those things. But as you begin to get closer to God, your promise from God is not defined by those things that you're looking to make you feel better. So what they do is they pacify you by giving you a cross. Pacify you by saying, I'm consecrating you. I'm ordaining you. They pacify you by saying, this is the way God does it. If God doesn't tell me, then it's not real. So what takes place is you are now in a spiritual and religious prejudice segregational system. You look at your relationships. If a man goes to church, he's a good man. If a man don't go to church, he's not a good man. You set this system to something that is so consistent and so minute, it becomes the diamond of your life. It becomes the insignificant things become significant, because now I can control you by giving you a person as insignificant as you, making you feel significant through me, when you were significant the whole time. So Jeremiah is going down, and as he begins to talk, we come to this thought process in the 11th verse. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall you call on me, verse 12, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me when you shall seek me with your whole heart. So I have to segregate you from the thought process of God. I've got to pull you away from the fact that God has something for you. Today, and I'm not going to stay on very long. Today, I need you to understand that the power source of who you are to get your things and desires and things happening is based on the fact that you are being separated from your power. Your power is the base of unity, coming together as one. You're being separated from your power. And what happens is there are strongholds that you have established, and these strongholds have put you in a position where you cannot move, because we have planned your demise before you were even born. We've planned to frustrate your purpose, your promise, before the promise even was. Because we attach the promise to the sensitivities of our emotions. We attach the promise to the sensitivities of the things that we like and the things that we don't like. So what happens is people begin to say, oh, I like you. And so I'm going to follow you. I'm going to attach to you. Oh, I like you. So I know that you won't hurt my feelings. Oh, you're sexy. So I know I want to be married to you. You are defined by your externals. And what happens with the definition of your externals, ladies? You become prejudiced. Because all the systems you were given made you prejudiced. Now, girl, I want a tall man. Now, bro, I want a girl with long hair. So anything outside of the system that we set made you then become the same racist that you're watching, because you have now identified your love, your spirit, by something external, which is not who we are. And we're so deep in it that we've abandoned the promise, which is God's going to bless you with a relationship. We've abandoned the promise, which is God's going to give me what I want. And what you happen is the little leaven is leavening the whole lump, and you're still stuck in this place and going, how do I get out of here? How do I get free of this thing? Some of you are dealing, and even myself, we're dealing with these financial issues. Oh my God. I did a short little impromptu business meeting Sunday afternoon. And I began to talk about all the things I learned about business. And for those of you that were there, kind of give me a thumbs up, because I think they really enjoyed it. I hope you did. And so what I realized was we are afraid to move consistently. We set value on the things that they tell us are valuable, and those things that are actually valuable, if we're not convinced they're valuable, we don't do it. We don't move in those areas. So now in this mindset, this logic that has been shared with us in Jeremiah 11 chapter says, I know the thoughts I have towards you, thoughts of good and thoughts of peace, and not to give you an expected end. Let me read that exactly, because I'm going all over the place. For I know the thoughts I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil. Now here's the one interesting thing about that passage. Check this out, guys. For I know the thoughts I think toward you. Let me pull this over instead of going to it like I don't come. I know the thoughts I think toward you, for saith the Lord. Thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end. You know what's really interesting? He didn't say thoughts of good. He said thoughts of peace. He didn't say thoughts of non-sin. He said thoughts of peace. He didn't say thoughts of a perfect life. He said thoughts of peace. And I just noticed that when I was reading. I'm going to circle that too. He said, I just noticed that he said thoughts of peace. Thoughts of peace. So what do they have to do to you, ladies and gentlemen? Take away your peace. Everybody that has written a book, I want you to follow this mindset. Everybody that's written a book, if you've ever written a book or you're writing a book, and this is just, I'm not saying do this. I am not saying to do this. It's on video. I'm not saying to do this. I'm not saying to do this. I'm not saying to do this. But everybody on the video, ask yourself this. If I told you and gave you the address for the President of the United States, would you send your product to the President of the United States? Do you believe enough in your product to give it to the President of the United States? Is your label perfect? Do you believe that the President of the United States would use your product? Or are you hoping he will, overlooking the things? If I told you to put it in the mailbox and mail it to the President, a lot of you would, but how many of you would believe he's never going to look at it? He's never going to pick it up. I was talking earlier today, and I was talking about doing some things for the organization. And when I was doing some things for the organization, we're working on this planner. I got one here. I got a page here. We got a planner, and it's called Spiritual Download Planner. And so I'm working on my part of it and how it works, because there's a system, ladies and gentlemen, to growing spiritual. And if we don't understand the system of growing spiritual, what happens a lot of time is we're kind of all over the place. But here's what's interesting. The system of growing spiritually is getting what's inside of you out. That's why it's called spiritual download. Getting what's inside of you out. It's about consistency. That's what this is about. It's about consistency. It's a 30-day planner that shows you how to get from where you are to where God wants you to be, to begin to see things manifest, see things happen, see things change. You are not so far from God's manifestation that it can't happen tomorrow. It's a mindset. You have to get to the mindset, and this mindset is God can do it now. It's God can do it now. You are right now, follow me. Everybody here is right now worried about something. Some of you are worried about something that's going to happen tomorrow. Some of you are worried about something that's going to happen later on today. Some of you are worried about something that's going to happen next year. Some of you are worried about something that's going to happen in your future because you're too old. Everybody in that sick, if you're in one of those categories and you're worried about something, you will realize that you are worried because you are attempting to outthink God. I know the thoughts. In 2 weeks, in 7 days, in 2 weeks, you're going to have rent money for this coming rent. And right now you're looking at all the capabilities and the skills around you to figure out how to get that done. My rent is a nice size. I pay a nice piece of rent. So you're looking for opportunities to get around. You don't see any opportunities. If you have a job, you're starting to start saving, laying money aside. So even when I talk about this spiritual system of download, you have to understand that you, in order to get there, you have to stop trying to outthink the God that knows what he's thinking towards you. Because he's giving you peace. Not as the world give out unto you. So here's what happens. Here's what God has talked to me about. He said, son, what makes you think it's not going to happen tomorrow? I said this on Sunday. What makes you think it's not going to happen tomorrow? What makes you think you're not going to meet the perfect man tomorrow? What makes you think you're not going to meet the perfect situation tomorrow? What makes you think it's not fixed tomorrow? See, when you look at God for being God, he can fix something in a snap, in the twinkling of an eye. So what you have to learn to do is build structures around your life. That's what this is all about. That's what the planner is all about. Build structures around your life that invite God's movement. Build structures around your life that invite God's movement. So this is why I tell you to do things, because he has an expected end for you, but there's peace in the process of the expected end. So you're building structures around you. See, many of you have abandoned the promise because you are trying to plan what's going to happen tomorrow. You have today. God, cover everybody that's listening to me, and those of you that are listening to me later, cover everybody. As you are being covered, I thank God for you. But you have to realize that you may not be here tomorrow, and you're worrying about a tomorrow that's not promised. You're worrying about a tomorrow that's not promised. So what you do is you abandon the process that God has given you so that you can make sure you make yourself feel peaceful in those processes. So everything that happens to you becomes a situation where you start thinking, they did that to me. They did that to me. Because in our selfish nature, in the mindset of our bodies, or the system of our bodies, we think that it's an attack against us. When we don't understand that we are sitting at a position where we're supposed to be pouring into people. And so we have the thought process of being God of our situation. Well, I know what happened. Do you? Do you exactly know what happened? Well, see, this is how God deals with me. See, here's the thing. I was talking to a couple yesterday, and they said, well, God always deals with us here, and God deals with us here, God deals with us here. And I go, wow. I said, but that means God can't do anything different? My exact words are saying this, then God can do something new because you already got that side mastered. You already know how that's done. So he doesn't have to do anything for that. See, we get God put into these little categories, and we think we know everything about God. And so what happens is there's a part of us that wants to feel valuable. There's a part of us that wants to feel valid. And we'll get in front of people and we'll begin to talk about all the things that God does and how he deals with me. Like that's the only way God deals, is the way he deals with you. So I have to leave things open. So when God wants to show me something, he shows me from whatever standpoint. There are people that I would think, God, that person did that to me. And God said, they did something to you? Yes, they hurt my feelings. They made me mad. God goes, okay, now apologize. okay, the scripture says this, and this is how this is going to work out, because we have a system by which God is what he's doing, by which God is doing that. And what happens is we think that when we do what we think he's going to, when we do what he tells us to do, we then think he's going to respond the way we respond to it. So he gives us peace. But we do not know what tomorrow brings. You are so concentrated on tomorrow that you're not building a today that attracts a tomorrow. Write that down. Building a today that attracts a tomorrow. That means being prepared for tomorrow. Build a today. You work so hard on today that it will produce a tomorrow. It will attract a tomorrow. Right now, every person that is listening to me, if you have a problem, I said I wasn't going to preach, but I am. If you have a problem, here's what I want you to do today. I need you to take a piece of paper for that problem, and I need you to write down what could happen today to fix that problem today by the time midnight happens. See, when I created the spiritual download planner, the goal was, how do you fix the problem today? What can you do today to fix the problem? What can you do today to fix the problem? Today, you have from 10:27 Eastern time till 1 o'clock in the morning to fix the problem. If you did that every day, if you did that every day, if you figured a solution to your problem every day, one problem at a time, by the end of the month, you would have no problems. Jessica, write that down. Fix a problem a day. Why? Because here's the thing. My God, this is so good. Here's the thing. You fix the problem today because there's a promise already on you. So the more you work on the today promise, the more you walk in the promise, the godly promise. The more you work on the today promise, the more you find yourself in the godly promise. See, when you learn that God has tomorrow in his hand, he knows what tomorrow is going to bring. You don't. When you learn that just because you know a little bit about God don't mean you know everything about God. When you learn that when people try to come and share something with you, whether you like it or not, there's something within what they're sharing that's for you. You've got to learn how to cut the meat and leave the bone. Well, I'm a vegetarian. Then smell the meat and leave the meat. But there is something within whatever is happening to you that God has allowed, and because of our arrogance and we think we know so much, we begin to try to categorize what God is doing. That's where you go wrong, my brother. This is where you go wrong, my sister, because he said you are supposed to have peace in the midst of it. Peace is not the lack of the absence of commotion. Peace is not everything working well. Peace is an ability to be stable and straight and balanced when everything is going crazy. So when you begin to work on today's situation, figuring out how are you going to make $50,000 today? Oh, I don't know. Then you begin to pray about how to fix a $50,000 problem today. Pay your car off. Think about that. See, you got to get to this new level mentality. You cannot stay in the same mentality to say, I'm going to give me a used car because I can put down $5. You begin to say, I must, hallelujah, I've got to tap into something that is so much God that I can move in places that I don't even know how I got there. I don't know how I got the new house. I don't know how I met the new husband. I don't know how I got the new wife, because the formula and the mechanism that is created through God. So I can stop letting go of stuff because it hasn't happened in a long time. I can stop going down and changing my criteria or my standards because I haven't seen it. But the reason you haven't seen Mr. Right is because you've never been in the position where Mr. Right is. You are all over there where Mr. Right now is. So while you're at Mr. Right now, Mr. Right is someplace else. But within the fears and the disappointments and the nervousness, you would rather deal with Mr. Right now or Mrs. Right now than to step out of your borders and allow Mr. Right now and Mr. Right to meet you. You would rather stay in the perfect financial place where you balance everything out than to step out into the new place where God can take some of these burdens off of you. You would rather stay in a place where everything works out just like you want it to work out instead of saying, I know you got an expected end. I'm not going to carry burdens and weights around. So I'm not going to abandon the promise because of how I feel about the promise. See, you don't dislike anybody. Here's what happens to you when your emotions begin to operate in a place where you start to segregate yourself from people, oh my God, because they've done something to you. You don't know how many people call me and I explain how they should do things and they should do it this way and it should be fixed and this is the way it fixes. And then they look at me and say, how did you know that? Well, because God told me how to fix it. And then they come and they don't want to fix it or they disrespect the fixing. I don't get mad at you. I don't go, I ain't dealing with them no more. I can't do that because I never know what God has inside of you. You may not have it right now, but it may be there later on. See, you got to kill that. We have got to kill that. We are living in this place where we're trying to maintain our protection by what we think about ourselves and by what we think about people. Tomorrow is not promised. Stop abandoning the promise because you don't see how the promise is going to work. You don't see why God let that person in my life. You don't see why God has me in this city. You don't see why God told you to do this because you are trying to see it so you can control it. But honey, when you let go and let God, you begin to see what God wants to do. When you begin to say, I know he knows the thoughts concerning me, thoughts of peace and not of evil to give me an expected end. When I begin to look at that, I don't let go of the promise. I tie down to the promise. So when I begin to deal with this process, that when I did this process, see, this process here, this process says, first of all, you have a schedule. And if you look at it the way it's laid out, there's a scheduling appointment side where you write down what you're going to do to the day. And on the left side or the right side of it is what you're doing towards your thing. So you're meshing your process with your spiritual process with your personal schedule. And you bring them together and you allow God within the midst of them. That's what this is all about. So now when you put this stuff into the planner, you then begin to see movement. But you see movement because you're not looking at your life according to the fact of what you can control. You let it all go. You let it all go. Here's what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. There are those of you right now that are talking to me, that are watching me, that are listening to me, and they're part of our organization. You're part of the mentoring group. People are talking about you. Mm-hmm. Not only are they talking about you, they're talking about you in good ways. Ooh, I like that girl, Angela. Yeah, I got to do something for Tawana. You don't know because in the start from the beginning, in the segregation of your world, the world that is created to make you a racist, to make you a segregationalist. In the segregation of your world, you've got to be by yourself and you got to think everything through. The greater your pains, the more you need to be super person and you don't need people to help you. Now, I got it. Every person say I got it is scared to let God handle it. Every person that says I got it, if it's you, just say ouch. Every person you say, hey, I need you, I got it. You are afraid to trust God. No one was afraid to trust people. No, you're afraid to trust God. Every one of us. Every one of us. Because what you have to do is everything that comes towards you, it comes towards you because God has allowed it to get close to you. And if he's allowed it to get close to you, you can't get emotionally tied to it or you will abort the mission. If you get emotionally tied to anything, you abort the mission. Listen, when you go to a situation and that thing is going on, I am not tied. Listen, I love all. I am not tied to you. I love Jasmine. Jasmine is going through some things right now, and God is delivering her and making her stronger. But I don't tie myself to Jasmine emotionally. Love her. Anything she needs, I got her. I have to stay attached to wanting the best for Jasmine. Because I'm not attached to her emotionally, which means if she likes me, I'm mad. I mean, if she likes me, I'm not mad. If she don't like me, I'm mad. I'm not attached to her like that. I'm attached to her spiritually and divinely. So that means that what comes into me, I share with her as one that is concerned about her. So she doesn't have to worry about me getting caught up in the emotions of, well, I don't want to talk to you, Uncle Della. See, that's how y'all always tripping. We got all this testosterone going around because even men are acting like, well, he said something to me I don't like, so we ready to pop our necks because we don't live in peace. We live according to attachment. And the other side of that is I know I can give her truth because I'm not attached to her bad or her good. I'm attached to the fact that I want better for her. Everybody you want that for. If you talk to somebody, they don't listen, write them an email. You don't know tomorrow. You're not building a solid today. You're building you are fixing all the problems of yesterday. That's how you're living. You're not trying to prepare for tomorrow. You're not trying to build a strong today. You're fixing yesterday's problems. That's all you're doing. You're fixing yesterday's problems. You're fixing pains of your past. You're fixing disappointments and people did. That's what you're doing. You're fixing those things. So what you do is in the day, today God is going, listen, I want you to work on your book. You say, no, I can't work on my book. Got to go take care of my grandkids. Can't work on my book. Got to go take care of my cousin. Can't work on my book because I can't. You begin to tell God, I know better than you, God. I'm going to work on this. So you abandon the promise because you don't see logically how you're supposed to do something. And God is going, just do what I tell you to do. Do what Pastor Dallas told you to do. Do what the circumstance told you to do and try it. See what happens. You will never. People say, don't ever say never. Well, I'm saying it today. I will never tell you anything, number one, that God didn't tell me, and number two, that won't move you to a better process. I will never tell you anything that will put you in a position where you have to take care of me over what God told you to do. Never. I am, of all the pastors you've dealt with and the leaders you've dealt with, it's okay. It's okay. I'm Uncle Dallas. It's all right. I understand you've been broken and hurt in the past. I understand people have misused you. And I understand. But I also understand that you put people in the wrong position. You're not emotionally attached to me. You're listening for the Spirit of God that comes out of my mouth. You are listening for that rhythm that comes as the Spirit begins to speak at a different level. You're looking for that place that transitions you from carnality into spirituality. So that's what you're listening to. If you're at a point where you think you know everything, sweetheart, here's your problem. You don't. I don't think I know everything. There are preachers that I don't listen to, and there are preachers that I don't. But the other night I was on time and I was listening to one particular preacher that I probably wouldn't listen to in a million years. But as he began to speak, he spoke to that moment. Why? Because if God can make a donkey talk, God can make your circumstances speak to you. He can make the wind speak to you. So stop thinking you know everything and start understanding that God has you in a classroom to make you better. If you're not walking in the place that you're in, I'm talking to my sister yesterday and said, you're $1 million brand. Why would you even look in this direction? Why would you're $1 billion brand. Some of you are $1 billion brand, but nobody said and talked to you. Then I'll come and say, hey, I'm going to help you get to the $1 billion brand. You're so busy expecting me to fall, expecting me to lie to you, expecting me to hurt you, that you are abandoning the promise instead of going, if he lies, if he hurts me, I'm going to get something from this so that I get to where I need to be. Every person that hurts you, baby, bruh, every person that hurts you, every situation that has broken you, that situation was ordained by God to make you stronger. You made it. You made it through. It wasn't to stop the promise. It wasn't for you to abandon it. It wasn't for you to abort the baby. It wasn't for you to abort the mission. It was for you to say, I'm strong enough. Oh, I made it through that. Oh, wait a minute. I can deal with this thing now. What you did in your past is past. It's gone. People that remind you of it, they are of the devil. Stop reminding me of my past and give me instruction to get to my future. Stop reminding yourself of your past. Stop reminding yourself of your past. You do it all the time. Stop reminding yourself of your past and do something to prepare for your future. Stop reminding me, well, my husband beat me, my cousin, my wife left me. Stop. All that stuff does nothing but attach you to the past. I was watching this movie with, I think it's called Logan. I wish I could put that video up. I think they could call Logan. And when in the movie, Logan was doing this thing and let me see. I might be able to pull this thing up. I forget how to tell. But he was fun. And every time they would throw the chains at him, and they tried to pull him with the chains. Hold on. Let me see this. Yeah, I'm a different kind. I'm a different kind of person. I'm a different kind of person. They tried to pull him with the chains. And Logan is Wolverine. I'm sorry, not Logan, Wolverine. And so they were trying to pull him with the chains. And what happens every time, every time they did something to him, let me see if I can find it. I can't find it. But every time they would shoot a chain, and a chain would grab his hand, and they would pull him in all the directions. All the chains were in his back. They were hooked into his back, and they were pulling him, trying to stop him from moving. They were pulling him, trying to stop him from moving. And what they were trying to do is stop him from moving forward. That's what's happening to you. Every time you remind yourself of something, every time you remind yourself of something, I'm sorry, I'm looking for this thing. I really want y'all. That would be a great illustration. That's a great illustration. So every time they would pull him, they pull him into a place where they were holding him steady. Wolverine, let me see. I'm gonna do it. I'm talking about Wolverine. Oh, I can't find it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the same thing that's happened to you guys. That's the same thing that's happening to you guys. And so what happens is, I don't see it. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. It might be here. But what happens to you is every time you bring up your past, that's what happens to you. In your past, you begin to bring up what happens to you. And what they do is they keep trying to pull you down and control you. And when they do that, what they do is they put you back in a position where you're held steady. You're held stopped. You don't move. You don't move at all. I'm not going to find it. I'll send you guys a copy of it. Wolverine ninja. Did somebody say Wolverine said the ninja scene? Is that it? Is that it, Tron? Did you find it? Did you find it, Tron? I'm gonna look at it, but I want y'all to see that. But I'm gonna keep talking to you. I want y'all to see that Wolverine the ninja scene. We'll see. Because if you've seen the movie Wolverine, you know what I'm talking about. If you've seen the movie Wolverine, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's what's happening to some of us. We are right now in the ninja scene of the whole what's going on and what's happening and how it's happening. And so when you, I think that's right. I think he's right about that. I think he's right. I'm going to see. Yeah, hold on, guys. I think I got it. I think he's right about that. Yeah, I think he's right about it. I see it. There it is. There. There it is. It's dark though. It's dark. It's dark. It's dark. I'm going to show you this. This is what's happening to you right now. And my dog is so dark, though. It's so dark. It's so dark. I can't see it. Let's see if I can take this. It's so dark. Let's just see. There. Right there. Right there. Right there. Everybody that's watching me on YouTube, this is it. You see that? You see that right there? That is what's happening to you right now. Your past is connected to you in such a way. I'm going to let this play a little bit, but they're put, and every one of those, I want you to imagine every one of these things over here, every one of those things are demons. They're spirits. They're familiar with you. They're familiar with what happened in your life. They're familiar with your circumstances, and they are keeping you from moving forward. It won't let you fight. It simply leaves you in that space, and they keep shooting. Look at them. They keep shooting. They keep shooting. Then there's the kill shot. There's a shot that weakens you, that takes you down, that makes you lose your promise. But you keep moving forward. That's the person in your life. Hold it, 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 hold it. Let me back this up a little bit. Let me back this up a little bit. Look at that. Look at that. That's what's happening to your life. You see the promise. He's looking at where he's trying to get to. See the promise. Another one shoots. They keep shooting and shooting. Then comes that one person that you trusted, you loved them, and you thought they were just the greatest person in the world. And they put the kill shot in you, and all of a sudden you hit your knees. You have to understand that God has got you. You have to understand that God has got you. Fix today. Fix today. Fix today. I know the thoughts I think toward you, thoughts of peace. Be peaceful. If you can fix today. I had to learn that the reason Philippians is such a great chapter to me, because when you see in the passage Philippians, the principle says, those things I considered gain, I consider loss. Philippians 3:7. Those things I consider gain, I consider loss for the knowledge of Christ, for Christ. For Christ. You have to understand that every day is a new day for you. I am going through, and those of you that want to go through, I'm going through a 30-day spiritual dump. This is, spiritual download. 30-day. I'm going through a 30-day spiritual download. Every day I'm going through a download. Every day I isolate what I'm going to do in that day to fix everything that I need to fix in that day. Everything is lined up. Everything is done. Why? I realized something. I realized I was fixing things at the level of my knowledge and not the level of my faith. I was fixing things at the level of my understanding, not the level of my trust. Because whoever responded to me, I will respond to them in my flesh and not respond to them from my spirit. It's difficult because if somebody cuts you off and almost hit your car, you got to be in a position where you're going, you know what? They might have had somewhere to go. But we have been in such a sensitive place, and we have been so connected to this thing in the past that we are now at a point where we are still trying to live this life the way we think the life should be lived. So what is happening to us is we are still stuck here. Still stuck in this position, stuck in this place. We're still stuck. We're still in a position where we don't think that anything in our lives could ever help us. Check it out. Some of you are right there. That's your life. That's what you look like right now. That's what you look like. Your dad, your mom, all your past, all your situations, all your circumstances, all these things. This is what you look like right now. And everything in the world is holding you down. But I got a promise for you. I got a promise for you. Greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. Greater is he that is in you than he that's in the world. Some of your sicknesses are happening because of this, because of your financial situation that happening because of this. Some of those things that are happening in your life are happening for this very same reason. They are the things that are holding you to the past. It gets to the point after a while that it doesn't even hurt anymore. You expect it. You expect somebody to stab you in the back. You expect somebody to trick you. You expect somebody to hurt you. So you protect yourself. You can't become vulnerable enough to say, God, if you say do it, God, I'm going to do it. You live your life according to the rituals that you structured so that you can supply what you want. You are your personal God. Yeah, you are. But in order to be your personal God, you have to be in a position where what you are doing is defined and designed by the real God, by the head God, by the Jehovah God. So if you have power over your situation and you keep letting your situation be defined by your past, who actually have power over your situation? Your past does. Your past does. So in the process of this whole thing, you begin to see God in a way that you've probably never seen God before, because you've never taken the time to look at God from that standpoint. So, for those of you that don't have the download planner, I'm going to say this. I need you to have 3 different categories. Category number 1 is what you're doing today, your daily stuff. Category number 2 is what you're doing towards your vision. Category number 3 is how you're going to get it done. And what you'll see happen is God will begin to unfold and unleash who he is in your life. Some of you have challenges. Some of you have situations and circumstances. Some of you have valued people in your life more than valuing God. Some of you, now here's what's interesting. Follow me now. Follow me. Here's what's interesting. Some of you have valued the person that hurt you more than the person that's helping you. I have a friend of mine right now. This is the friend of mine. I have a friend of mine right now that's going through some things, and they know who they are. My friend called me up and said, I need some help. And I said, okay, I'll help you. I keep telling the friend what to do, and the friend doesn't listen to me. But here's what the friend said to me, word for word. Y'all tell me how this works. Tell me what, am I crazy? Okay. The friend tells me I tell the friend to do something. Let's just say I tell the friend to go get a hotel room and stay away from the house for 3 days. And I call back in 3 days and the person is still in the house and they still are dealing with whatever's going on in the household. Then they say these words to me. The last time I did what a friend of mine told me to do, it didn't work out the way it is. I paid that friend for their information, but it didn't really work out. So whenever I do what people tell me to do, it doesn't work out. Doesn't that sound like you were doing what people told you to do that didn't have your best interests in mind? And then somebody that has your best interests in mind tells you what you should do or how you should do it. And you've ignored them, but you've listened to all the people of your past that told you what to do, and it never worked. So now you're in the mindset where nothing is going to work because you think you know what tomorrow is going to bring. Stop carrying people. Oh, that's my little sister. Oh, that's my little brother. Oh, that's my cousin. Stop carrying people at the level, that was just prophetic term. Stop carrying people at the level that they weaken your movement. Stop carrying people at the level that they weaken your movement. Now, and so I said to them, I said, so let me see if I got this straight. Everybody that told you to do something, you did what they told you to do. But when I tell you to do something, and every time I've told you to do something that's worked, you don't do what I tell you to do because of what other people told you to do and it didn't work. That's it. Well, no, that's it. Now, here's your mindset. I'm going to teach you about this. Here's your mindset. I said, okay. Did I hang up? Nope. Did I stop talking to him? Nope. Called him and told him again, you need to try this. You need to try this. And I'm going to keep telling them. Every time they call me, you need to try this. Okay. You need to try this. Why? Because there is a way out. And listen to me, people. I got 3 minutes. Listen to me. There's a way out of your situation. It's already in your life. There is somebody or something that is in your life right now that is saying, here is the way out. Here is the way out. Come this way. It is either affecting your mindset. It is affecting your finances. It's making you insecure or you're afraid. So you're not walking toward the door because the enemy has masterfully got you so controlled that you won't walk out the door because you're afraid that if you walk out the door, something is going to happen to you. So while God is going, come this way, you're trying to give all the personal things in your mind that makes it easier for you to go that way. You don't believe like you need to believe. You're standing there going, okay, I'm going to come over there, but what about this? And what about this? Okay, I'm going to give to the organization, but what about this? And what about this? You're attached to those things that make you God and keep you safe. And here's the scary part. The scary part is what he has for you is so much bigger than where you are. And the person that is speaking to you is not speaking to you just to get you out of it. They're speaking to you on a whole nother level. They're not speaking just to get you a book. They're speaking into your life to change the culture that you live in, change the direction. It's trying to change the trajectory, change your whole narrative. But you will nitpick and discern and spiritually move and pray. Instead of going, I'm going to move. If it doesn't work, I'll go another direction because you're afraid. Stop abandoning the promise because you think you know what's going on. God can do it in a split second. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, God can fix every problem. But you got to give him something to work with. You got to give him something to work with. You got to give him something to work with. When you understand that, you'll understand that God has something greater for you and he's about to change the trajectory of your life. And stop being afraid. Make a mistake. Don't attach emotionally so your feelings don't get hurt. Attach according to the structure and the movement. Attack according to structure and movement. Attack according to structure and movement. You can be free. I need you to see that visual again. You can be free. The one thing I need you to understand about that visual is the fact that he was strong enough to beat it. He didn't let it stop him. He was strong enough to beat it. He was strong enough to beat it. All right? I love you guys. Happy birthday, Nikki. Happy birthday. Is it Nikki's birthday? Happy birthday, Nikki. No. Nikki's? Is it your birthday? I don't see birthday on here. Let me read this. It's a new day. We have to move the new way. I can expect it, please. I don't see whose birthday it is. I saw birthday, but I see happy birthday, Nikki. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nikki, and I don't know it's your birthday. Happy birthday to you. All right, guys, I'm Uncle Dallas. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. You know the drill. You know what we're doing. You know how we're doing it. Y'all be good. I love you. I thank God for you. I will see you tomorrow at 8 for my mentees. And I will see you Wednesday for those of you that follow us on all our different social medias. Make sure you like, share this video, watch it over and over again, and allow God to minister to you through it. All right? You know the drill. TikTok, Instagram will answer your questions. Quick questions and quick answers. All right? I love ya. See you Wednesday. Peace.